Alright my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and one request I've been getting here at the channel for a long ass time is to highlight a build that you can use for most things in the game. Let's say you're running around the open world, you're doing some farming, you're running retaliation, running your favorite mission, whatever it is. You're looking for something that gives you high survivability, puts out a bunch of damage as well, but the one stipulation is that you do not want to use a shield, because a lot of players out there, honestly, you hate using a shield. And look, here's the thing, I know a lot of my builds I use a shield, so today my friends, today I'm going to be highlighting a build that I strongly recommend you try out. It will give you that weapon damage plus survivability, and the most important thing, like I said, no f***ing shield whatsoever. Alright, starting with the specialization, we are using Gunner, doing that for the typical reasons. And those reasons, my friends, are the following. Get that extra armor on kill, reload speed increase, you have access to the Banshee Pulse, that's just one of my favorite skills to use in the game. Extra rate of fire, some weapon handling when you're in cover, you will be in cover from time to time with this build. And always remember, you need to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree, that way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. Now, as far as your primary weapon is concerned, you do have a ton of options, and because we're using the Striker gear set, you're not limited to a certain weapon type. Now for me, for this build, my Lexington is my primary weapon. I'm using the Talent Preservation, where killing an enemy repairs 10% of armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills are going to improve the repair by an additional 10%, so you do want to aim for the dome. If you don't have a Lexington, use your favorite assault rifle with Preservation. There's also a named SMG Emil's Guard. It has the Talent Perfect Preservation, but for me, I'm more of an AR or an LMG type of person. And I say that referring to this build itself. Now, you also have the option of using the Caduceus. This will definitely get the job done, where critical hits repair you and your allies for 3% of the hits dealt damage. Finally, as far as the weapons are concerned, I want to mention two things really quick. First of all, try out different variations, roll with the one you enjoy using more. And secondly, you know, when I am running with this build, I'll have an AR as the primary and an LMG as the secondary. Moving on to the gear itself, you can see starting with the mask, we are using the Catharsis. And you can see it has the Talent Vicious Cycle, where taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. Each stack grants 1.5% weapon damage, taking damage at max stacks, triggers a purge, removing all stacks and status effects, and then dropping a healing cloud which restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. And I'm telling you right now, my friends, this mask will save your ass time and time again. Next we have the body armor. It's the one piece of Palisades. We're using that to get that extra 10% armor on kill. And I am using the Talent Obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. That now takes us to the holster, the knee pads, gloves, and backpack. 4 pieces of Striker. You can see the bonuses are as follows. 2 pieces 15% weapon handling, 3 pieces 15% rate of fire, and 4 pieces Striker's Gamble, where weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. And as we make our way to the knee pads, gloves, and the backpack, you will notice I'm doing my best to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage everywhere I can. Finally, as far as the backpack is concerned, because we're wearing the Striker bag, we have access to the Talent Risk Management, which increases the total weapon damage gain per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 0.90%. Now, as far as the skills are concerned, I'm using the combination of the Banshee Pulse and the Defender Drone. Now, the drone is actually kind of one of those, keystones for this build. You want to use that. As far as the Banshee Pulse is concerned, if you want to use something else, you totally can. Looking at the numbers, we're sitting at 55% crit hit chance, 92.4 crit hit damage. Always remember, those numbers are going to be dependent on not only the gear you have equipped, but having a Shade Watch of level 1000. Finally, I need to mention in the gameplay footage you're about to see, I do not have any global modifiers active whatsoever, and the reason for that is to ensure that whenever you see this thing, you know exactly what it can do without any special events. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope you're doing well on this fine day. What are your plans this weekend? Me? I'm working. So I got that going for me. Anyway, let's talk about the build really quick. So this happens to be one of those builds that I will use if I'm farming in the open world, hitting up control points. I will use this thing in retaliation as well. And one thing I want to mention really quick is that, you know, the main reason I put this thing together is because I'm hearing from people saying that, you know, they just can't find a balance between that weapon damage and survivability. They're looking for something that's kind of, you know, user-friendly. And in my opinion, the combination of the mask plus the talent on the weapon is really going to help you out. Again, you have a lot of options when it comes to weapons. And as far as the talent is concerned, you know, let's say you're trying out this exact build, right? If you notice that you're not really benefiting as much as you thought you would from the talent preservation, change it to a more aggressive talent. Use Killer, use Optimist, something else, you know, because again, the main, you know, one of the things we run into with this game, and this is something I hear from a lot of players out there, is that you're putting together a very tanky build, but you keep dying. And one of the main reasons for that, you know, usually taking place is because you're not putting out enough weapon damage to take out the NPCs fast enough, because eventually your armor's gonna crack, you know? And look, keep in mind as I say all of this, you're talking to just an average, or let's say above average player, right? I'm not terrible, I'm not great, I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean? So for me, as someone who plays the game the way I do, this happens to be one of those builds that can definitely get the job done, and we are all guilty of just running the same thing nonstop over and over. So branch out, try different things, you may discover something you like. You may look at this build and say, you know what? This guy, I don't want to watch this. Or maybe I want to watch it. I like this guy, but I don't like the build. That sounds better to me. So anyway, I actually want to mention really quick that I will also be posting a much more aggressive run and gun build where you do not need a shield. You're face taking NPCs, putting out a ton of damage as well. That should be coming in the next day or so, because I know a lot of you out there may want something, you know, less cover, more shooty bang bang. That's it. That's all I got for this thing. Thank you once again for everything, and I will see you in the next one.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Taking too much fire. One down. Can't see them. I can't move. Stay back.
Reinforcements incoming. Incoming hostiles detected.
Gonna need new armor.
Friendly control point nearby.